Welcome everybody to Festo's virtual exhibition and hello from Esslingen to wherever you are in the world right now. Let's talk about our productivity master. Let's talk about industrial transformation and make a glimpse into the future with only one single production machine. Let's now address the four mega trends concerning industrial automation together with our expert, and here he is. Hello.
Hello, Dora. Hello. And welcome. My name is Nigel Dawson. And let me introduce you to the Festo Productivity Master. Now, the theme of Hanover this year is industrial transformation. And what I'd like to do over the next 15 minutes is show you how this single machine can help you, and Festo, of course, address some of the challenges that are brought to us from megatrends in the market. The Productivity Master produces USB sticks with some very special technology and connectivity. So let's take a tour of the Productivity Master using four global megatrends as our guide. So the first megatrend I'd like to talk to you about today is digitalization. You'll see a lot of it in the press, you'll see a lot of it in industrial automation news. But what kind of digitalization do we use on the Productivity Master? Well, digitalization covers all our personal lives and has done for many years, whether it's how we listen to music or, of course, how we communicate with our family and friends. It's been slow to come to industrial automation, but is now gaining pace rapidly. And so it starts always with the connectivity to the cloud. And for this, we use the Festo IoT Gateway. Now, the IoT Gateway from Festo allows us to communicate from the machine to the cloud, and of course, from the cloud to the machine. And we'll have a look at that in a short while on our second megatrend. But where else do we see digitalization on the Productivity Master? Well, as you can see here, we have a mixture of electrical and pneumatic axes. And traditionally, pneumatics has been a challenge for us to gather data from right down at the workpiece to take it up to the cloud. But with modern technologies like IO-Link connectivity, which we can see here on the Productivity Master with things like vacuum generators, pressure sensors, flow sensors, distance sensors, and even remote I/O and servo drives on IO-Link, we can get that data right from the actuator all the way to the cloud. But it's not just IO-Link we use on connectivity on the Productivity Master. You will notice we have a range of valve terminals, remote I/O systems, and low voltage and extra low voltage servo drives. These are all connected via EtherCAT and are connected directly to the motion controllers. You can see them listed on every single one of these cells. Now, having discrete control on each cell reduces the load on the supervisory PLC and, of course, takes the cyber physical intelligence down to each individual cell. This means if we want to change a cell out for a different function, it's very easy because the control is completely within that cell. But how do the cells communicate with each other? Well, each motion controller uses Ethernet, using standard protocols that have been established for Industry 4.0, like OPC UA. And the OPC UA connectivity takes it all the way through the IoT Gateway to the cloud. The final thing I'd like to talk to you about digitalization is at the end of the machine. So let's have a look towards the end of the machine and see what we can see here. So digitalization is not just about electric drives, etc. It's also about pneumatics, as we've mentioned, with IO-Link. And here at the bottom, we can see the Festo Motion Terminal, the VTEM. Now, this is a very special pneumatic valve terminal from Festo. It utilizes cyber physical systems in each valve. This allows us to change the function of the valve instantaneously using the connectivity. It also has a lot more advantages, but we'll cover those a little bit later when we look at some of the other megatrends. So true digital pneumatics, true digital connectivity brings us perhaps to our second megatrend. And for that, we need to go back down the machine and have a look a little bit further down. So, now we see the full scope of digitalization on the machine. However, when we think about digitalization, we think about how does that affect industries of the future? And of course, one mega trend that we are seeing is individualization. Mass production is everywhere these days, but individualization is growing in a trend across all developed industrial countries. We're used to it in our private lives, perhaps. When we think about being at home and configuring a car online, we can add alloy wheels, different colors, different interiors. Finally, that car is produced on a production line, but the car that comes off is as special as the customer that receives it, because there's very few two cars are alike when you configure them online. Now, this trend is moving more towards other industries, such as footwear. We see sneakers and running shoes now customizable with your name and different patterns. Also, food and pharmaceuticals and individualized furniture for your house. So this trend is increasing and increasing, and we need to take this into account when we think about our products. Now, the digitalized IoT gateway that allows us to connect the machine for diagnostics and artificial intelligence to the cloud also allows us to connect from the cloud to the machine. And this is very important when we consider the role of the customer in the production of the future. The Productivity Master allows a customer to order their USB stick online simply using their mobile phone. Their data, including names and pictures, and even what information they want loading on the USB stick, is stored in the cloud, and it produces a packet which has a unique QR code. Now, at any point, the QR code can be scanned using vision on the machine, and then the individualized production begins. This allows Festo to produce an individual product with lot size 1 as economically as we can produce many thousands. And we use this technology here at Festo for over 5 years in our Scharnhausen factory in Germany. In our digital factory, we have a production line a little bit bigger than this, but very similar, where we can produce customer orders individual down to lot size 1 very economically. So this is not something new for Festo, but maybe the production of the future will need that customer interaction even more. So the IoT gateway is not just for connecting diagnostic information to the cloud. It's for pulling that customer data down to the cloud to do individualized production with a lot size of 1 very economically. It's not just, of course, the IoT gateway that enables this on the Productivity Master. We saw earlier the Festo Motion Terminal, the digital valve terminal from Festo. Using those cyber-physical systems in each valve allows us to switch the function of the valve in real time. This means that 1 minute it's doing one thing, and the next minute it's doing something completely different. And this allows individualized production like we've never been able to do before. But of course, we will always have mass production. Mass production is very important with the population we see in the world today. People want more products, even cheaper than last year. So, with mass production, we need to consider the balance between individualization and producing the products in many millions or many hundreds of thousands. And this brings us to our third megatrend. With an ever-increasing amount of products being produced, our thoughts move to, can we have a cleaner planet in the future, maybe for our children, with such energy use and such wastage. And of course, the megatrend of climate change or sustainability is very important. When we look at the Productivity Master, what I'd like to do is show you now a few aspects of the Productivity Master that allow us to design in sustainability into your machines, utilizing some of the technology we see here. So, consider energy saving as a principle. Now, many people will think pneumatics is not as energy efficient as perhaps an electric motor or an electric drive. On the Productivity Master, we see a mixture of pneumatics, electric drives on almost every cell. We can select the right solution because it's not always pneumatics that is energy inefficient. A vertical axis holding a heavy load using pneumatics is more energy efficient than an electric axis. This means that we can select the right product for your application because we are technology neutral. We don't mind if you choose electric drives or pneumatic drives. We have everything in the portfolio. The valve terminal, the VTEM, the Festo motion terminal that we talked about earlier, that is also energy efficient. Why? Because those cyber physical systems in every valve, they allow us to monitor the airflow and the air pressure, and the valve terminal will constantly adapt itself for the conditions of the machine. Of course, we talked about individualized production earlier, and this is also energy efficient with individual production. Nothing is wasted because nothing is produced that isn't ordered, nothing is transported or stored that isn't ordered, and of course nothing is scrapped or thrown away. And the final aspect of sustainability and climate change, we have to go down here and have a look at the machine at the end. Here we see the energy efficiency module, the E2M. The E2M is an air preparation system with the same connectivity through the cloud that allows it to make specific decisions autonomously without humans on what to do considering the airflow. So for instance, if the demand reduces, then the system will shut down automatically. If the demand increases unsuspectedly, then of course it will email using the IoT gateway the maintenance engineer to say, come and have a look. And that brings us finally to our fourth megatrend. And the fourth megatrend is linked a little bit to mass production. And that is increasing number of products for an increasing number of population. Well, actually, that's untrue. A study today, this morning, from the Lancet, an international research study showed that in 2100, the global population in 20 main industrial countries will reduce by 50%. This means we have an older workforce and we have less new people coming in. How do we counteract that with technology here? Well, of course, we need to make products simpler. Dashboards on the IoT gateway up in the cloud allow our customers to easily monitor the machine without additional programming or complex algorithms. Using pneumatic and electric drives selection software on our website allows our customers to choose the right product without prior knowledge or without doing any calculations. You can design a handling system like this in just 15 minutes on our Handling Guide Online software. And of course, commissioning drives using our Festo automation suite means we can get a drive running with an axis, a motor and a controller in just 5 mouse clicks. And that saves up to 70% commissioning time for our customers and less knowledge. Festo is the world leader in didactical training, in industrial training and education. So we can use our seminars, we can use our consultation and our hardware to train new people coming into the industry to address these demographic changes. And of course, we can also train those older workforces, maybe those with grey hair or no hair like me, to be up to speed with new technologies such as IoT, such as cloud computing, and of course, digitalization. So when we bring all these factors together, we can see that with these 4 megatrends, the Productivity Master can not only address the challenges they bring us, we can also create opportunities from these things to make your machines more future-proof and to make, of course, our partnership regarding developing your machines of the future the best we can possibly do. And this is how, with all our connectivity, our IoT gateway, our mechanics, our electrics, our intelligent products, we can bring you seamless connectivity from the workpiece to the cloud. Thank you.
Nigel, and we say thank you for showing our customers our Productivity Master. And as expected, we have some questions. And there are 2 that I want to pose to you.
Okay.
The first one is, can the drive and Wolf's terminal be mounted next to each other?
Absolutely, of course. That's a very good question. And of course, what we have is a lot of our drives, of course, are we have integrated drives that have an IP rating that can go outside the machine as well as our I/O. So you don't need to put them in the cabinet. But if you do put them in the cabinet, all our drives have got internal filters built in. They don't take up any more space in the cabinet. And therefore, you can mount them very much together. And not only that, but our servo drives are so efficient, you can mount them touching. You don't even need an airspace between them.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the second question we would love you to answer is, you mentioned some handlers are electric and some are pneumatic. How do you select which is the best?
Okay, again, a very good question. Of course, it depends on the application. For that, we have several pieces of software online for both pneumatic sizing and for electric sizing. But the best thing to do is actually to contact your local Festo guy, your application engineer or your sales engineer, because they can advise you best on the portfolio and then select the right product for the application. So we have software and consultation.
Great.
Okay.
So Nigel, if there are more questions, and we hope there are, some of our experts are happy to answer the questions in our live chat. So please visit our booth area for more answers. And stay tuned, because in around about 10 minutes, we start our next session, which is about electric automation on this stream. Thank you very much and stay tuned.